Hi there, it's Dr. Brenda Money Coach. This is my 3:30 a.m. face. I didn't get much done yesterday. I went on my Three Dunes Challenge hike and completed that, and then I kind of chilled out the rest of the day. I was feeling just very, very tired. I think one of the things that I've realized is that it's not so easy to always pack up my campsite and travel to the next place. So I am working on slowing down. I've canceled my reservations at Acadia National Park in Maine. Maine has been very, very difficult to travel to with the extra restrictions, and the park was still closed. It is still closed. They're set to open August 1st. I have reservations for August 2nd, but that August 1st deadline may move back too, which would really leave me without a place to stay. I also had 3 or 4 nights where I couldn't find any place to stay in Maine. So I decided to cancel it, and instead I'm going to spend time in Vermont. Which sounds pretty attractive to me. They also have some pretty strict COVID requirements, but I'm planning on being at a resort along the lake, and it should be fine for me to just self-quarantine, stay in my RV, hopefully get out and enjoy nature to whatever extent possible, and chill for a while. And so I've been working also on my winter plans, and you know, when I planned this trip, it's like, okay, I need to go there, there. And everything actually that I had planned was based on 3 RV rallies that were in different parts of the country. So that helped me figure out where I was going to go and when I needed to be there. All of those rallies were canceled, and my plans to start in March got pushed back to the end of May when my house sold. And so everything has been in flux. In flux. So I've been trying to figure out where to go for the winter. And the 3 states that pop up the most are Florida, Texas, and Arizona. And there are some of the Gulf states too, but those are the 3 biggies. I'm going to be in Florida in September, and it just wasn't calling my name to stay there throughout winter. And so I started to look at Texas and Arizona. I've been thinking of doing Texas for a couple months and then heading towards Arizona, but that's another 1,000+ miles, and it chews up a lot of my gas. You know, I mean, it's pretty expensive to go from one place to another, and I didn't know that I wanted to be traveling so much. It would be nice just to settle down for a couple months. So I did find one campground. It's in the Texas Hill Country, and I'm going to be there October and November. And it looks right up my alley because it's more outdoorsy oriented. And the only issue is I don't think I want to be there in January, because then it dips into, your high temperatures about 60 degrees. So I'm looking for some place warmer, which means I need to go further south. So I found another Facebook group last night on campground reviews, and so several people have made some suggestions, so I'm going to look at that right now. My dilemma is that I really love the state parks and the national parks, and it's because the trails are right outside my door, so I can do what I need to do in here, put on my hiking shoes, and hit the trails. I can hop on my bike. There's someplace to go. There's something to do. With a lot of the RV resorts, you're looking at, I mean, a lot of them, they're just piling in RVs, so you don't have a lot of space between you and your neighbors. And you're, miles and miles of what look like cement pads. And I'd have to drive to be able to bike or hike, or ideally kayak. So I'm trying to find a resort that feels like a state park, a good state park. So that's my challenge so far. I haven't found anything. It's mid-July, and COVID has really put all these other thoughts in place too, because if the winter is, I mean, right now the situation is not good, and I don't know that it's going to get better by December, January. It could get worse even. So the challenge of staying in state parks is twofold. One, most of the time this is true for national parks too, your stay is limited oftentimes to 14 nights. So every 14 nights you've got to relocate. But the second thing, which is the worst, is that most, if not all, of the state parks shut down when the COVID first became rampant in March and April. And so people who were staying in the park came back to their RV with a note on to move out the next day. And where were they supposed to move to? So this is my home. I'm not able to just move out and find another place. And then with the private resorts, I think most of them were able to stay open, but you couldn't come to the park. If you already had a reservation, if you were already there, they would honor it. But you couldn't just show up at the park and check in. So I need to really plan ahead of time. A lot of Florida is already booked up. People have their favorite resorts. They go back year after year. They book year after year. And there was one in Tucson, actually, in Arizona, that I found that I'm like, okay, this looks pretty ideal. And so I contacted them. They were booked up. He said, do you want me to put you on the wait list? I asked, how long is the wait list? It's 4 pages. So I need to move relatively quickly. And Texas, there's still, it's a lot of Canadians would come down to Texas, and I'm sure to Arizona and Florida too. And, there's no travel between Canada and the U.S., at least not recreational travel. So who knows so a lot of them might not have made their reservation. So anyway, that's my challenge. I'm hoping that I'll get some leads from these folks who commented on my Facebook post, because if I'm gonna be, if I'm at a lousy campground, I'm there for a week, maybe 2. It's not a big deal. But if I'm someplace for 3 months and I really don't like it, that's a long time in my book. So that's what's sort of keeping me up at night. So I may as well get to work. And it's, I'm a planner, I'm an organizer, and part of that's a good thing. Most of it's a good thing, but it's also like it's difficult when the brain keeps spinning and I can't stand loose ends, so I'm going to try to tie them up. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. If you want to follow along on my crazy journey with my 3 cats, go ahead and subscribe. Talk to you later.